Tell me, can I sit up? Is that okay? Am I in?
And you're live.
Trying to figure out if my head's in the picture. This is Papua New Guinea Part 3B. Back at the coastal region in the Sepik area of the country. Uh, just kind of quick update on why I was there. Really, I needed to leave Australia, get my visa renewed, but I had always wanted to go to Papua New Guinea because the Rockefellers lost one of their children there. The airplane went down and the son was never found. And I thought, if all the money that is the Rockefeller world could not find somebody in Papua New Guinea, it must be really remote, and that's where I wanted to go. So went over there, stayed with a family that had family members in 3 different sections. This is down at the coastal area, which is where they were all originally from. So now we'll get to the pictures. This is the uncle of the main family that I was staying with. Scola was the matron of the family, and this is, I guess, her brother. He was curious about me. He couldn't understand why someone would be so far away from their family and out on their own and traveling, which I thought was a really pretty good point. You know, they live very close to each other, and why was I all the way across the world without my family? I just was there to check things out. One of the cool things that I loved about Papua New Guinea was a lot of the families would just, there was adults and there were kids. There was such a fluidity about it. One of the adults that was the mom or the dad of the kids that were there, they would just get up and leave. They'd take a break because they knew all these other adults were right there and they could be looked after. I felt like it offered a lot of peace to them as parents, whereas here we just are completely responsible all the time, and they got to take breaks, coming and going. This was let's go back. This is where they were fixing their roof. So the roof is thatched. The roofs will last about 2 years. They also have thatched walls, but if you have a really good roof, then your thatched walls will last like 10 years. But they were busy here redoing the roofs of several of the different buildings that they had. They take a long stem and then they basically weave it over the other one, the leaves. I don't really know all the technical aspects of it. I wrote it in my journal. Someday maybe those will be aired. But it was just a really fascinating thing. This is Scola. This is the mom of everybody. And this was a different string that she was using. She actually was working on making straw bags, but kind of similar, different type of grass, but very similar way of braiding it all together so that it gets really strong. This is the thatched wall that is, probably it's very difficult to see with this modern and mixed technology, but they're beautifully woven together so that you have a very dry house to live in, which is important because Papua New Guinea on the equator has a lot of rainy season half the year. So there's a beautiful finished wall. This was so cool to me. We walked not too far from where the houses were into the jungle. They had cut down a sago palm, which is the primary palm that lives in that area. They, I'm not sure what order this is. Maybe I should have put Benjamin working in it first. But so this is Scola. They take the sago palm with a hatchet type thing. They carve the inside of the trunk out. It's very pithy. It's a palm, right? So it's pithy. Then they put the pith part, the center part of the tree in there. They pour water over it, and they've made this strainer out of more kind of thatched grass leaves. And she squeezes it, and this is a container down here that catches all the residue water. I think the next one shows Benjamin. Yeah. So this is a sago palm, and he has this hatchet kind of device, and he's just chopping the inside of the tree out. His mom comes over and picks up all the material, puts it in that bucket, and strains it. Well, they catch the water and they boil that, but then after they strain the material, you have kind of purple looking water, and they take the leftover pithy palm part and they take the purple water and dry it out because it has a lot of the residue in it, and that is what they eat off of. It's very much like a cake kind of powdery substance. If you go out and buy a vitamin C bottle, look at the ingredients, there's a chance it will have one of two things. One of it will be rose hips, which is the actual base from a rose once the flower has gone, or it will be from sago palm. All right, we're having some technical difficulties with the old projector, but this is the beach area where they lived. We went over there one day and a couple days, ran into some of their buddies. This is a musical instrument that he had made. They're very, very creative, very artistic. Actually, the Sepik region is very well known for their arts, for ancient arts, but it is still a ongoing practice amongst everybody that lives there. This was so cool. This is Jonathan. He just like went straight up this palm tree, which has no limbs, right? But he just shimmied straight up it, got all the way up to the top of it, and then he had his machete with him and knocked one of the coconuts off. Benjamin is down here. He's cutting all of the coconuts shell out of it so they could use it for coconut water. A lot of the little kids, 3 years old, 5 years old, 7 years old, didn't matter their age. Some of them, the machetes were bigger than they were, but they only ever saw the machetes being used properly, so I never saw the kids use them incorrectly. But they, sometimes the machetes were the same length as their bodies, and the parents were like, you're fine, because they knew how to use them the right way. They were really proud of their motorboat, but I wanted to get in this. This is an old single tree dugout canoe with a outrigger on it and a platform in the back. So this is actually the island over here where the family is originally from. This place that we were in was on the mainland. They go out and they fish for it, and it's pretty hard to tell, but that's me in the middle. We got to go out and paddle into the waters with them. This is another group that was out. That was in the first boat. They were cruising out and showing me how it works. That's the original island for their family home. One of the other things that was really fun, I had my contact lenses on when I was in Papua New Guinea. They didn't have a whole lot of soap and water. So one day, it was evening, I took my contact lens out, I cleaned my hand as best I could, then I got my little flashlight out and looked down, and I was supposed to be it must have been in the morning, because I was getting ready to put my contact lens in my eye, and there was just creases of dirt all on my fingers. But as was true, most of the places I went, they were fascinated with my ability to pull this plastic thing out of my eyeball and still be okay. They'd never seen contact lenses before. This is the crew. This is everybody. They love to play the guitar, and everybody came out. That's Scola. That's her son. I'm sorry, this is Scola. This is the lady that took me into the jungle to get the leaves that we ate one night, and just unbelievably friendly, loving, welcoming people. Nothing like what I was told they would be. And then off I went to the next country. So that's where we'll go. Ciao, ciao, ciao.